The Hickory Project is moving along. We're under construction now with the first phase of the pipeline work, which is the collector pipeline system within the well field itself here. The contract started last year in October with the clearing work. The first week of January of this year, the trenching for the pipelines themselves actually began here. So that contract is moving at a very good pace at this point in time. A little over 9 miles of pipeline were included in this to interconnect all of the 9 wells that we have here at the location. The contractor at this point in time has completed a little over 8 miles of installation of the pipe, so we're very close to nearing the installation of the pipe, completion of that part of this project here. After that, the contractor will be going back then, adding the air relief valves, the control valves, and doing the pressure testing of it. And we anticipate that by the 1st of May, this portion of the contract should be pretty much finished up. The next phase of the project then will be the installation of the main transmission line from the well field here at Melvin to San Angelo. That is set to kick off around mid-March to the 1st of April with the clearing of the right-of-way and beginning of the trenching and laying of the pipeline itself. Treatment is the major area that we're still looking at, another possibility for treatment of the water itself. Last year we conducted a process which is known as ion exchange, which is a filtration of the water to remove the radium from it. It was very successful. We're also now looking at another option, which is reverse osmosis treatment of the water. Last year our engineers, Corolla, ran some bench scale tests in their facilities to see how RO may perform on it there. They were very pleased with what they saw on the bench scale test, so we then moved into actual field testing. A pilot plant has been constructed here to test the effectiveness of that treatment under real-time conditions here at the well field. We're drawing water from the well, one of the wells that has the highest level of the concentration of radium in it, running it through 3 different types of RO membranes from different manufacturers to see how those do perform. The pilot testing of this will last for at least a 30-day period initially. After that, then we go through some cleaning operations of the filters themselves and then restart it up for an additional 10 days after that to meet what is required by the state of Texas. The Texas Commission on Environmental Quality has certain criteria, minimum criteria that we have to meet as we do the pilot testing here. The facility has been started up, is in operation right now. The water quality coming off the RO filters, what is being produced, is of very good quality. The filters are performing very good at this point in time. The real question is then how do they perform over the long period of time? So that's what the 30-day period will tell us here, which would be similar to what will be experienced in full plant operation over several years, is how do they hold up over time? Do you see continual declines in the quality of the water? Does the operational cost increase with time? So that's what we'll gain from this RO pilot plant, is to not only see how effective they are, but then what could be anticipated as far as the long-term operational aspects of the facility. The next step after we complete the field testing will be submission to the state of a very detailed report on what the performance of the RO treatment was. When that is done, then Corolla will be bringing to the City Council their findings of how did the RO perform, the reverse osmosis. How does that compare then with the other treatment option of the ion exchange? It'll be looked at not only from a capital cost, how much would it cost to build the 2 different types, but what is the long-term operational cost of each of those type of facilities? And then what is the advantages and what is the disadvantages to each of those type of treatment processes? So we anticipate that report should be ready to go by the early part of the summer of 2012 here, so that the council then can make a final decision on which way to go with treatment. Once that's behind us, then the engineers can be turned loose to complete the final design for a treatment facility and move it toward the bidding phase. We've been very fortunate to receive some very beneficial rains. December, January, February have certainly been very beneficial as far as putting some water onto the ground, replenishing the rivers. Unfortunately, they have not reached the point where we've seen a lot of runoff coming into the lakes. To see that, we would have to have some very intense rainfall events, similar like we saw last year in August when we had 2.5 to 3 inches of rain fall over an area within a very short time period, of an hour and a half to 2 hours. If you have those type of events, you will see some good runoff coming to the lakes. But unfortunately, we've had very good soaking rains, which are excellent for the lands themselves. This has helped to replenish some of the underground aquifers, which in turn feed into our local river system. So the rivers at this point in time are in very good shape. If we do see a rain event, it won't take near as much water to fill all the different holes along the river system, and runoff will show up a lot quicker into our lakes. So we hope that as we go into the spring season here that we see those thunderstorms, which is what it will take to produce runoff, that intense runoff, that as those do occur, the whole drainage system is in a lot better shape then to produce runoff into the lakes. With even though we had the soaking rains the last several months here, we didn't see a whole lot of runoff, but there was enough that it in essence brought us back to where we were at the beginning of the year. We have replenished that much of our water supply, so that we gained about 2 months as we moved into this year here. So that every little bit like that helps to move back then that point when we may enter our next drought stage here. And if we can keep doing that, that gets us to the point to where all of a sudden the Hickory project is here, and we will have that water supply source in addition to our local lakes.